Okay, so what a guest I have this evening. So, professional MMA fighter, a stunt double, worked recently on the Netflix series Cobra Kai. What a series that is, by the way. He's also worked on Castle Falls, a Prime series that starred Dolph Lungren. Guy's an absolute badass and loves to fight. My guest this evening is the awesome Ethan Melisano. Is that right? If I pronounced it right?
That is Melisano.
Okay, cool. So how are you, mate? You good?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, good. So yeah, I'm gonna get straight into it. I feel like you're living my childhood right now, with everything you've been doing. Like, you know, working with Dolph Lundgren, working with William Zabka, working with Ralph Macchio. Like, some of my favorite films as a kid were the Rocky films and were and were the Karate Kid films. So like, you right now, you're living my childhood. Is that how you feel at the minute? Like, you know, working with all these people, is that how you feel? Or
yeah, no, it's definitely been a surreal thing. You know, never imagined myself even doing stunts. It's not even something that I necessarily pursued. Just kind of fell into my lap, and I've been rolling with it since. So, but it's definitely been a surreal, you know, feeling getting in there and working with some guys that I grew up watching as well.
Yeah.
You know, as a young Italian fighter, I definitely watched the Rocky movies. So, big fan of Dolph Lungren, and you know, binge watched Cobra Kai right before I got the call. So, grew up watching the Karate Kid. I remember having the VHS that we pre-recorded, you know, with the Karate Kid on it. So, always been a fan of that as well. But definitely an awesome experience getting to do movies.
Cool. No, that's wicked. Are you planning on? I don't know if you'll probably be able to say this, but are you planning on going back to do further series of Cobra Kai? If they spoke to you about doing more?
I have. So we actually just finished filming season 5, probably mid-December, end of December, somewhere around that time. So. Yeah, I got to do the entire 5th season. You know, hopefully next year we're gonna start back on season 6. So
cool. Okay. No, that's wicked. And so in the Cobra Kai series, so for the guys that have watched Cobra Kai and you know, the ones that are yet to watch it, that when they do watch it, they'll obviously know. You stunt double for Hawk, is that right? So you do Hawk stunt double?
I do.
Yeah. Cool. So do you do like all of the fighting stuff for him? Obviously, with your fighting background, do you just like step in and do all of the fight scenes, or does he do any himself? Or
he does a majority of it himself. You know, they're getting to work with very talented, you know, guys that they grew up doing martial arts. So they're essentially training one-on-one, getting private lessons with like high-level, you know, karate practitioners. So they're learning the real thing, and you know, throughout the seasons, you know, Jacob's gotten really good with his fighting techniques. You know, a lot of the scenes I'm not even needed necessarily. I think I was in like 4 clips the entire 4th season. So okay. I was in the episode 1. I had to take a fall when Johnny hits him with the leg sweep. That was me that took the fall. And then in the All Valley tournament, I hit a scissor kick, so like a suicide scissor kick. Yeah. And when we met in the middle, I did that front kick where I took a fall, and then the flying triangle was me as well. But other than that, Jacob killed it. He does really good with the stunts, and got even better, you know, for the 5th season. So
does he, like, I mean, when he does some of this stuff himself, does he ever sort of come and have a conversation with you and say, hey, how would you do this? How could, you know, do you sort of collaborate on that sort of stuff? Do you talk about it, or?
We do. We definitely do. You know, that's really the call for the coordinator and the fight choreographer, and really just everybody works together as a team. But he does come to me, especially when it comes to like jiu-jitsu and stuff, for the flying triangle. You know, they asked me a lot of input on that. What would you do like after you got slammed? Him posturing up when he looks up at, you know, asking me, you know, how that would work and stuff. So yeah, mostly with the jiu-jitsu aspect of things. I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so I would say that's where I have the most knowledge as far as that goes.
Cool. Okay. So then obviously, you know, stepping away from Cobra Kai a little bit, and we look at the other stuff that you've done. You've done for you know, only doing it for a few years, you've worked with some pretty big names. So like you said at the start, that must feel quite surreal. But I'm just gonna some of the projects you've worked on, some of the names that you've worked with on those projects, I'm just going to list them because I want the audience to understand like the kind of people that you're working with at the minute. So like, obviously, yeah, we talk about William Zabka, we talk about Ralph Macchio, we talk about Dolph Lungren, obviously all huge names from like the 80s, and you know, they're still sort of coming back and making their names again well known to the younger audience now. But then you've got the likes of Spider-Man, Tom Holland, that you've been on a project with. You know, you've got Tanner Buchanan, you've got Sebastian Stan, Robert Pattinson, and Jason Clarke. Like all of these are, you know, people might not know some of the names, but when they see the face, they'll go, "I know that guy. I know who that is." So, like that must be really cool to be working on things with people of that sort of stature. That's only got to surely do well for yourself in your career. For sure, it's a short resume, but I've got to work with some, you know, guys that are high level in that field. So, you know, it's been cool. You know, the first time I was ever even on a movie set, I was shooting, you know, a fight scene. So I had never even been on a movie set. I got the opportunity and took the call. So. And you stepped up, and that's obviously, it's worked well for you, hasn't it? So yes. The first movie I did was called Embattled, and they were renting out our facility. You know, they called and said they were interested in renting our facility to practice the choreography and stuff for the fights. And my head coach, he, you know, hired me and was paying me himself to come in and help work with the actors and basically give a crash course on MMA. Teaching them jiu-jitsu and, you know, how everything works. And then they ended up casting me to do a fight scene with Steven Dorff for the movie. So got to do that and then just rolled with it since then. Cool. No, that's you're like living the dream, man. It's so cool. It's so cool. But yeah, I mean, you know, I want to focus in on a specific name there, and just keen to see if you actually, because I know in these films, you know, people film in different locations and you don't always get the chance to meet the people that you're actually doing the films with. They're just sort of, you know, they're on the same title, but they've, you know, done it in a different location. Did you get a chance to meet Tom Holland? I did. I actually doubled him. Oh, okay. So that's okay. Yeah, cool. He did all of his own. Yeah, he did all of his own stunts. It was a fairly, if you've seen the movie Devil All the Time, you know, fairly easy fight scenes, and Tom's amazing at what he does. So, you know, he did all of his own stuff. Essentially, all I did was we shot the previs, and I played his character. Previs is just the videos they show of the stunts. They show it to the director. The director gives the nod or says what they want to change. So yeah. I did that, and then when they called me in to work with Tom, I basically just showed him what the choreography was, you know, and then he did it himself. That's wicked. So, I mean, from the fan standpoint, is he really as nice as he is on camera? Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, very personable. Came up to me, introduced himself. I was like, "Yeah, I know you are, Spider-Man." Yeah, you don't need to tell me. Yeah. He was very interested in MMA. We really just talked about that the entire time. You know, we weren't working, so. That's wicked. No, that's cool. He's obviously as you know, he's English, so obviously he's quite big over here, but you know, he's also huge over your neck of the woods as well, over in America. So yeah, he is cool. I think when I worked with him, he had like maybe 6 million followers. Now he's got like 60 million. So I'm glad to see him have such big success. Just watched Spider-Man not too long ago, so the new one. Yeah. Yeah, he's great at what he does, man. What did you think? What did you think of the new film? Oh, dude, it was awesome. Definitely enjoyed that. I'm gonna have to see that multiple times for sure. Yeah, most people have seen it now, so I'm just going to say it. But when that reveal happened of the three of them, I was like, yes, yes, that's exactly what everyone wanted. And yeah, it was like because they all had been denying it for so long, there was almost that fear of doubt in everyone's head that it wouldn't actually happen, and everyone had built it up. So when it did happen, there was just this massive roar, like in all of the cinemas that there's loads of videos, isn't there, on the internet of cinemas like going mad, when people
I had no idea until it happened. I love the way they played it into it. It was awesome. So
okay, so yeah, I mean, the next thing I really wanted to ask you was about when you're on set, have you ever, and I know you say that it's it's quite a few, it's quite short with regards to the amount of stuff that you've done, but you're looking to do more. Have you ever, at this moment in time, have you broken a bone on set yet?
I have not. I haven't even really. Yeah, I've been lucky. I haven't had to take too many falls. The first real fall I had to do was on Cobra Kai. Mostly, obviously, I specialize in fight scenes and stuff, so
you're all good.
Nothing too crazy.
Has anyone punched you by accident?
Yeah, for sure. Steven Dorff elbowed me. If you watch the fight scene when he's going for the finish, do what's called a post elbow, where you post on the face and drop the elbow. And yeah, one of those landed for sure.
Did it hurt?
With it, they paid me an extra $1,000 to take the hit. So, I was okay with it.
Someone can punch me for $1,000. That's fine. I'll take that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll take that. But I guess you're probably used to it as well with with the stuff that you with your MMA stuff that you do, and you're probably used to someone hitting you in the face. So it's probably But
no issue there for sure.
I guess the last thing I really wanted to ask was you've been on a lot, but are you watching anything at the moment? Is there anything that sort of captured you at the minute that you're watching that you're really enjoying?
Right now, not too much. That's the thing. I don't watch a whole lot of movies and TV series, to be honest. I stay pretty busy with this, and
too busy starring in
it. Yeah, to be honest, just stay busy training and in the gym. It's hard to even keep up.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, obviously I asked you to pick a couple of songs, and obviously we can go into the first one now. But yeah, I asked you to pick a song that meant something to you. So obviously, what's the song, and why does it mean something to you?
Hypnotized by Notorious B.I.G.
Okay, cool.
That is my walkout song. So it just gets me in the mood, That's not too hardcore, but it just kind of gets me moving, gets me in the right mind space as I'm walking to the cage.
Okay, cool. Well, we will be back after this. Okay, so we're back. That was the Notorious B.I.G. So yeah, we are back in. Obviously, our second section. In this section, we're going to focus more on Ethan's fighting. So we're going to focus more about the the MMA and all that sort of stuff. So I want to know, before we get into this, who is your favorite fighter at the minute? Do you have someone that you look at and you really enjoy watching? Do you have a preferred?
I do. I like watch different styles and stuff. I would say my favorite fighter to watch right now is Petr Yan. I love his style. He stays in people's faces. Comes from a boxing background, likes to throw hands.
Yeah.
Likes to lead and probe with that jab hand. Does step through punches and stuff. So I really like his style. And he trains at Tiger Muay Thai, so he's got that Muay Thai base as well. Good in the clinch, good with knees, things like that. So I really like watching his style, and I've definitely adapted and stolen some of his stuff, for sure.
Cool. Okay. I from my side of things, I like Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
I think he's so flamboyant. And like, if I was a fighter, I'd want to be like him. Like, just because he dyes his hair, he's tattooed up, like he's got all of his tattoos, and he's just like, the guy celebrates like every time. Like, he's just a madman. I think he's pretty cool. So yeah, I like to watch his fights. I think he's cool. He knows how to.
He's a very exciting fighter. Does a lot of spinning stuff. He's got power in his hands. He plays long. He's a lot of fun to watch for sure. And he's got that persona, that sells. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's the entertainment business. So you got to be able to sell fights.
Yeah, and he reminds me a little bit of when Conor McGregor first came into the game, and he had that persona about him, and I kind of feel like he's got a similar sort of vibe about him. He's cool.
Yeah, Conor's been something else, man. He's changed the game for sure. It's tough to see anybody that'll do it like him.
Yeah, he's cool as well. The guy's cool. Do you think he's? You probably don't want to say this because he end up calling you out or something. Do you think he's done? Do you think he's past it now? Do you think it's sort of time for him to sort of step away, or because he's had a couple of fights, hasn't he, that sort of haven't gone his way? Do you think? Obviously, the last fight he was injured quite badly. Do you think it's maybe time that he didn't carry on, or what do you think about that?
I mean, that's really, that's going to be up to him, honestly. I think 45 is his weight class. I think he might be a little small for 55. I don't know. At 45, he's just like, those guys couldn't take him down. So for his style, I think that was probably the better weight class for him. But I mean, he's still in his prime, so he can do whatever he wants to with the game. He's a multi-millionaire at this point, so I imagine that probably changes things a little bit.
Yeah.
But as far as hunger goes.
Yeah.
But he's actually SBG. We're SBG Alabama, and he trains at SBG Ireland. So his coach and my coach are actually really good friends.
Oh, okay.
I had to train under John Kavanaugh a few years ago back in Atlanta. So.
No, that's cool. I really, really like him as a fighter as well. I think he knows how to sell tickets. He knows how to get in people's faces. He just knows he's very good at mind games. And
he is.
And there's not a lot of fighters that know how to push people's buttons as easily as he does. So that adds another element.
He's witty with it, and it's a different vibe when Conor McGregor's fight, for sure.
Cool. Okay. So have you? I mean, I know that you signed recently, didn't you? Relatively recently, you signed your new contract. So we signed your contract. So have you got any fights planned yet, or are you just training? What's it look like for you?
So it's been a rough, couple of years, to be honest. I had my last fight in November of 2019. Broke my nose in that fight, so had to take a little bit of time off just to let that heal up. And then that's when, COVID happened and lockdown. And they stopped doing fights quite as much. So then they started back fights, and I injured my right knee. Nothing too crazy, it healed on its own. But then at the start of the year, and this was actually the day before I did Cobra Kai for the first time, I injured my left knee. And it's pretty bad. I have to have surgery on it. So this was in January of last year. It's my tibiofibular ligament. So it's a pretty rare injury. Ended up shooting the entire fourth season with an injured leg. And then I signed my first professional contract to make my pro debut. And then the guy that I was going to fight ended up pulling out a few weeks beforehand. My knee was not holding up well throughout camp, so it was like, all right, cool, he pulled out, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull myself off the card and get my knee checked out. So then ended up getting it checked out, and then they called me back in to shoot season 5. So it was like, okay, I don't want them to call anyone else. I need to make a little bit of money as well. So I went ahead and shot season 5, and now I'm getting ready to have that surgery here shortly. So as soon as that's done, it's about a 4-month recovery. So I'm hoping to fight again end of summer, early fall.
Cool. Okay. And is that, forgive me. Obviously, I don't know as much as a lot of fighting fans do. But would that be with the UFC, or would that be on a UFC pay-per-view, or is it?
It will not. So at first you fight locally, just the same, basically the same cards I've been fighting on throughout my amateur career.
Yeah.
You're just pro now, so the fights count, and obviously you get paid for it.
Yeah.
So you have to work your way up. The people that I signed with was with Iridium Sports Agency. So they're basically my managers. They're the ones that are going to get my fights. They're going to negotiate my pay. My personal agent is actually my teammate, Eric Anders. He fights in the UFC. So he's my personal agent. So when the time comes, he'll be discussing my pay and things like that. I've gotten several fight offers since Cobra Kai came out. So I'm hoping to make my debut with a promotion called CFFC. They're number one feeder to the UFC. So the goal is to get to, 7-0, 8-0, and then hopefully get that call.
Cool. Okay. No, that's wicked. It's so what you're saying is in a year and a half, 2 years time, everyone's going to be like watching this episode like a year and a half later, going, "Hey, look, there's Ethan."
Absolutely.
But no, that's wicked. And with like obviously your whole life is pretty much centered around fighting. And so do you just enjoy the MMA stuff, or do you like watching WWE or wrestling or anything like that? Do you
really just combat sports? I watch Muay Thai, kickboxing, I watch jiu-jitsu, and then MMA obviously is the number one that I watch more so than anything. But mostly just combat sports, not into the whole WWE thing, but definitely a big fan of combat sports across the board.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well.
It's, the reason I ask is because there's a lot of people that obviously have done this side of things and then they jump over the fence and they go into that sort of a little bit further down the line. So I was just interested.
I wouldn't be against doing some WWE. If they pay pretty well from what I've heard. So that's basically just stunt acting.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm already fairly trained in.
I mean, you see like the likes of, Ronda Rousey, Brock Lesnar, like those guys going over there and doing that. Like Brock Lesnar's an absolute beast, by the way. But, just the fact that all of those guys, that there's more as well that sort of go over and they do that. I was just keen to see if that was something that you would, you'd think about doing later down the line.
Down the road, if I were to get the call, like I said, it's just stunt acting. So it's learning how to sell hits and learn choreography, which is basically what I do with the movies and TV shows now. So
yeah,
pretty easy for me.
I mean, you're setting yourself up good for that, to be honest. Like you're doing the acting stuff anyway, and then you're doing your fighting stuff. So maybe a couple of years down the line, it might sort of merge quite nicely for you. But,
yeah, not against it at all.
So yeah, obviously your knee's healing up. It sounds like it's obviously, well, you've got to have your operation, and then how long do you think it will take for that to completely heal? Have you got an idea on what that looks like?
Apparently it's a 4-month recovery. I was having issues with my foot, and I never knew that those were connected. But because of the tibiofibular, it's rubbing against my peroneal nerve, which is causing me issues in my foot. So like going through fight camp and stuff gave me terrible issues. I've still been training over the past year. I haven't been just taking time off. I've been training, really consistently. Just a lot more drilling. If it starts hurting throughout the week, then I have to chill, things like that. So hopefully, a 4-month recovery, and then I'll be able to take a fight.
Cool. Okay. Well, you have to let me know when it is, when the fight is, and I'll try and figure out a way to watch it. Because I do like watching it. Obviously, I just don't know the ins and outs. Like obviously, you Southwood, but it'd be cool to watch a fight when you're ready to go. So, but yeah. So I mean, should we go into the next song? We can go into the second song that you've got. What's your second choice?
The second song, we'll go "Everybody" by Logic. I like that song. That was another one of my walkout songs. Like I said, it just gets me in the right mind frame to go in there and fight. So I've walked out to that one a few times. So yeah.
Sweet. We'll be back after this. Okay, so that was everybody. So we are back in. So we were just talking in the break there. Ethan says he's got a cool story about your parents being on something with you.
Yeah. So on and battled. They were hiring a ton of extras. It was an MMA fight, so they had a lot of extras there. So I talked to the casting director, and they got my parents on as extras, just in the crowd. But then that same guy, when they shot Castle Falls, he was the casting director for Castle Falls, and he had my number when I got my parents on. So that was the only reason he really reached out to me and got me an audition for Castle Falls. But that's when I walked in to do the audition. Really knew nothing about the movie at the time. I just had an audition and an interview, and the director wanted to see like my actual fight highlight video. So I go in the office, and it's Dolph Lungren sitting there. Trying not to be starstruck for sure, but it's Dolph Lungren. So, but we ended up doing the interview, sitting there watching my fight highlights with him, and then we went downstairs to like the fitness area and did like an audition for choreography and stuff. So, and helping some of the other actors, me and Dolph got to move around a little bit and do a little choreography. So that was a cool experience for sure.
That's wicked. Did you get a bit of your mum and dad's pay as well? Did you did you say to your mum and dad, hey, come on, percentage of your earnings?
Not at all. No, I've got great. They felt me, and supported me throughout my entire, martial arts and sports career. Yeah. So shout out them for sure.
I wouldn't have been able to help myself, mate. I'd have been like, come on, 10%. No, that's cool. So, okay, we'll go into we're going to go into Quickfire. So this is our game where I have to ask you as many questions as I can inside 60 seconds, and all you have to do is answer the questions as quickly as possible. You've got to beat the score of 15, which was set by Miss England. She was on the show last season, and she set the score of 15. We also have Hannah Cockcroft, who is a Paralympian. She got 7 gold medals across 3 Olympics, and she's also on 15. So. A tall order, Ethan, but I think you'll be all right, mate. I think you can do it.
Yes, you got.
Okay, so right, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go. Favorite sport?
Favorite sport? Football.
Okay, person you looked up to growing up?
That's tough. I've never really had many like idols. I guess like Paul Bear Bryant.
Favorite color?
Red.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
LaRusso or Lawrence?
Lawrence.
Night in or night out?
Night out.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Facebook, Twitter or Instagram?
Instagram.
Favorite singer?
The Weeknd.
Favorite film?
10, 9.
Oh, that's tough. Forrest Gump.
7.
Is the Friday Night Show the best podcast you've ever been on?
It is.
Favorite song?
0.
Favorite song? Let's go Hypnotize, B.I.G.
Okay, that's it. That's time. What have we got? Oh, it's interesting here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.
Got it.
So you're like in the middle of the pack. You're in the middle of the pack, which is not bad. You're not at the bottom.
Second one slowed me down a little bit.
You're not at the bottom, and that's the main thing. The lowest score we've got so far is 9. So you're
9.
You're all right. You're
I'll take it.
But cool. Okay. So 12. We'll get that on the leaderboard. And each season, at the end of each season, what we do is we then put that out, so you can see what your competition got as well for the season. So, but yeah. So what's the plan then? What's going on out with you over the next couple of months? Have you got anything exciting coming up? Any other films come in or anything like that?
Really just, wait for the call. To be honest, a lot of the film work that I do is just, it's through a guy named Don Lee. He was the fight choreographer on Cobra Kai. He's the one that actually reached out to me and got me the job. I took it on 1 day's notice. Yeah. So he took the job on like a week's notice, but he was the coordinator for In Battle and Devil All the Time. So got me on those two, and then reached out to me for Cobra Kai. So, just kind of wait for the call. It's not something that I do necessarily full time. Full time I'm doing this and here coaching and training. So the next couple months, been putting off this surgery. I wanted to finish the season, and then had a couple guys fight up, and my girlfriend, she fights as well. Just fought up in Boston, so just got back from that, and now looking to get this surgery scheduled. So that's really the next step for me, is just getting the surgery done, getting my knee taken care of, so I can get back to it.
Cool. Okay, no, that sounds good, mate. Sounds good. It's like I say, look forward to seeing you in a fight very soon. Look forward to seeing you on Cobra Kai. I'll definitely be watching out for those switches. I found it so funny. I think I saw a video the other day or a picture the other day of you with the mohawk on, and it looks it doesn't look realistic at all when you've just taken a picture of it, but somehow on the film or in the series they seem to make it just look seamless. But like when you've just got a picture of it, like it doesn't look like it's sat on your head properly or anything. And then it's like,
so when they called me, like I said, I didn't have notice whatsoever. Don called me, told me to send him some pictures, and then he was like, "Are you okay with shaving your head?" And I said, "Yeah, cool with it." And he said, "Cool, you got the job. You start tomorrow in Atlanta. It's for Cobra Kai." And I was like, "Yo, work for Cobra Kai." So the next day I was in Atlanta getting ready to shoot, but I just got a haircut, so my hair was really short. So it was tough getting that thing. It's a piece, like a wig, and they basically just pinned it in, but it was holding on for dear life. My hair definitely wasn't long enough for that, so they had to just, spray paint my head essentially, and then try to make it look as best as they could. And then they told me not to cut my hair for the rest of the season, so my hair was growing out. And then I didn't get the call back until right before we shot the All Valley. Don actually reached out to me and asked me to come up with a couple throws and he wanted a flying arm bar and a flying triangle. So sent him a couple different moves and stuff, and they ended up adding a few of those to the choreography. The scissor takedown was one of them that I sent him, the flying scissor takedown at the end, and the flying triangle, as well as just the arm circle throw. So he reached out to me for that, and then when I came in, I saw Jacob for the first time in a couple months, and his head was completely shaved, and I was like, what? So now that's why he asked me if I was cool with shaving my head, was for the All Valley tournament. I had no idea I had long hair at the time, so they shaved my head for the All Valley. So that was a much better match at that point, but early on when I was wearing the mohawk, my hair was a little too short for sure.
It was actually really shocking as well when, in the series, when he walks in and his head is that's gone and he's shaved, and it's like, oh no.
I felt the same way about it. I am a fan of the show for sure, so seeing him at the All Valley, saw him for the first time, and his head's completely shaved. I was like, yo, what happened? I was just as shook.
Huh?
I said I was just as shook for sure.
Yeah, it's a really cool show though. It's wicked, and it's cool that you've been able to be a part of it, and that you're continuing to be a part of it as well, and hopefully that continues. I'm really looking forward to see where they take it. I'm loving the fact that they're bringing back all the old guys from all of the original films. I think that's wicked.
It's been great to work there as well. Everybody since day one was very welcoming. Everybody took me in, so everybody's really nice on set. Everybody's very personable, so it's been a great experience getting to work on that show, and I love it, definitely. Cool.
Okay. Well, yeah, Ethan, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been wicked to speak to you. I hope your surgery goes well. I hope you continue to smash it in the film scene as well. And yeah, hopefully you'll come back on again soon, and we can catch up again.
I'm down with it. You just let me know. I appreciate you having me on.
Cool, man. Well, yeah, good luck. Hopefully it all goes well. Catch up with you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.